This is Financially Fit Business with Ruth King.
Welcome to the Financially Fit Business Podcast. Here you discover ideas, tactics, news, and information that matters to the health of your business or your clients' businesses. I'm your host, Ruth King. Here is how we will help you increase the financial fitnesses of your businesses today. In the past 2 episodes, I've talked about how to do financial advisory, or the way I look at it is monthly review with your clients. In the first episode, I talked about the reasons why and the reasons why you might want to consider forgetting about billing by the hour and billing by value billing. In the second episode, I talked about where to find your clients and how to talk to your existing clients about potentially doing advisory, at least to get their attention, as well as where you might find additional clients. In this final episode of this series, I'll talk more about where to find clients that are not your clients already. And I'll talk about how to actually make a presentation to them so that they will say yes. So let's begin. Finding clients is really a matter of deciding who your client niche really wants to be. So I asked you to look at your existing client base already, and if they're all restaurants, or they're all doctors, or they're all dentists, or they're all heating and air conditioning contractors, they're all plumbing contractors, find additional potential customers in those niches first, because you have referrals from those people who are already in the niche and who you may be talking to may know that person and make a phone call to make sure that, number one, they like you and that you do really good work for them. And the second thing is they feel more comfortable because you understand their niche. Now, accounting is accounting and, bookkeeping is bookkeeping. But the reality is most of the people who are business owners in specific, industries really and truly want to work with people who, quote unquote, understand their industry. And so that gives you a leg up against somebody who's never had, for example, any experience or any clients who were plumbers or who were heating and air contractors or who were dentists or whatever. So find first people who are there. And what I would suggest you do is get referrals from your existing clients. And what you may want to do, this is an interesting thing that a CPA that I was a colleague with and still is a colleague with has been doing for many years. He works a lot with contractors. So he has assembled a group of contractors who meet once a quarter, who are all his clients, in his office for a lunch and learn. And what they do is they go through financials, the good and the bad and the ugly, not specifics, but these people all know each other. They're comfortable talking about things. And, everybody says, well, I don't want to work with my competitors. Well, you'd be surprised that when you have people who are really good business owners, really want to bring the level of their competitors up to the same level as they are, because then they compete well. What they don't compete well with is if they're pricing at a certain level and there's somebody who's in there who's undercutting everybody because they want to get the work and they don't know how to price and all those types of things. That's not who they want in the group. They want really good contractors in there. Or you can do it, if it is contracting, you could do a heating and air guy, a plumbing guy, an electrical guy, a generator guy, something like that, and bring them together for a lunch and learn. If you don't have this already, look at where your client base is and say, who else would you want to have a quarterly lunch with, at my office, and explain what it is. You'd be surprised how well those go. And it's a way for you to get referrals. It's a way for you to get new clients into the type of industry that you're in. And of course, you can just ask them. But it's more fun to do it from this perspective because you're truly helping them, once a quarter. Once a month is a little much, but once a quarter never hurt anybody. And if you want to do it for breakfast instead of lunch, fine. I mean, just, a meal meeting once a month works well. Okay. So that's what I would do if it's your existing customer base. I would actually look at it from a perspective of expanding out of that customer base to other businesses in that particular niche. And you can do that through going to, any of their industry associations, presenting at their meetings, and deciding who you want as clients in those particular niches. All right. So let's assume that we've got our niche. We know where we're going and everything along those lines. So you want to talk with them about, financial advisory services and providing bookkeeping, accounting, whatever services they need so that they can grow their business profitably and get good financial information to help them make good business decisions. So what you want to do is ask them, what their goals are, where they see themselves going with the business, and, what their financial statements look like right now, who's doing them, and what types of information they're getting. Now, 9 times out of 10, their financial statements are going to be a mess, right? In the research that we've done, about 80% of small business owners' financial statements are inaccurate. So if they're inaccurate, we have garbage in, which means what? We got garbage going out. So the first thing you may want to do is look at their financial statements and give them suggestions to make them accurate. And then do a estimate of what it would take to get them accurate. Now, here's where it gets tricky because most cleanup of financial statements is done on an hourly basis. And then, it's an open-ended thing for them at that point. Go look at where they are. And, if you think it's going to take 20 hours, make it 40. But give yourself enough wiggle room to be able to give them a fixed fee price for cleaning up their financials. And you're going to go, I'm not doing that. Well, you'd be surprised. A lot of the time it comes in under what you think it's going to be. And if it gets to the point where it's, something is there that you didn't expect and didn't see, you can always renegotiate the amount of time that it's going to take. So don't let scope creep into this. If you think it's going to take 20 hours, double it, just so that gives you enough wiggle room and doesn't give them a surprise on the back end. When we get back, I will discuss, how to show them what the financial reviews actually look like so that they have a really good idea of saying yes or saying no. Hopefully they say yes. We'll be right back. Thanks for listening to the Financially Fit Business Podcast.
Financial advisory services are the key to the longevity of the accounting profession. If you want to get started providing advisory services or want a review of a finance course you took in college, Ruth King's manual, Understanding Financial Trends Analysis, might be your first step. This manual gives you the information you need to help your clients with their financial statements. A great start or addition to your financial advisory practice. You help them with clarity on their business's financial health, the ability to spot impending issues and resolve them before they become a major crisis. Less stress and sleepless nights worrying about the financial part of their business. Your Financial Statement Trends Analysis Manual is the reference guide. What do you want in your financial advisory services practice? Click on the link below for more information and to order.
We're back. Thanks for listening to the Financially Fit Business Podcast. Before the break, we talked about niching. We talked about putting together a quarterly lunch and learn type thing for a specific niche or a specific group. And now, let's assume that they are interested in having you actually help them with their financial statements every month or every quarter. So what does that look like for them? Remember that they don't like numbers as a general rule. They don't get numbers as a general rule. They've heard all of these things about gross margin and revenue and profit, and they kind of get those things. But what makes gross profit and what makes net profit, they don't necessarily get. And they don't necessarily get that they have to have revenue matching expenses and direct expenses so that we don't have financial statement fruit salad, gross margins going up and down, so you have no clue about what profitability is. So put together the graphs and they'll understand the graphs. They understand trends. They'll understand a picture more so than they understand necessarily numbers. And, you can tell them they're doing good and they're doing bad. The P&L shows this and that. They're not going to see that. But if you show it to them in a graphical picture form, then they're actually going to see what's going on. And Financially Fit Business, we help you provide the graphs, and we provide the graphs for you. If you're QBO, it's instantaneously put in the dates and that type of thing. If you'd like a demo, just give us a call or send me an email, and both of those will be at the end of this episode. And, if you're using something else, if you're using another software system, go for it, but just use it. When you're talking to a potential client about financial advisory, you can't do it in numbers. Can't is not the right word. It's harder to do it in numbers and get them to say yes. It's easier to do it in pictures and get them to say yes. Because at that particular point, they kind of see what the trends of the business are. And you can be in a situation where you can show them things that are going on. And for example, if the trend between their revenue and their gross profit, which those two lines should be parallel, if they are not, we have an issue because they either have supplier increases and they haven't increased their prices. They may have productivity issues. It's not necessarily always increasing price. It may be productivity. It may be overhead issues. Sometimes you can cut, sometimes you can't. But these are the questions. If they see the graphs and you can show them, what they should look like versus what they are looking like, they're going to want to get to where they should look like. Because, most of the people you're going to be talking with and your potential clients are competitive. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in business. They may be, subtly competitive, but they don't want to be looking bad. They want their businesses to do well because that means they do well. And so if you can show them those types of pictures and say, is this something that you'd be interested in reviewing every single month? And most of them will say, what? How much? And then you can give them a flat fee. If this is the only way, only part of the work that you do for them, that's flat fee, start there. And give them whatever it is that you're going to charge them to do this on a once a month basis. The graphs are instantaneously given to you if it's QBO. Otherwise, you have to upload a PDF of a P&L on a balance sheet, and then it's like a minute. So it doesn't take a whole lot of time to get the graphs. You'll have to review where they are, and you'll have to spend the time to have the conversations with them, either Zoom or, in person, whatever. And, include that in terms of, the pricing you're going to give to your client. And what if your client says to you, well, that's well and good, but what if we did a flat fee, what they call it, for everything that you provide for us, bookkeeping, tax preparation, phone calls and stuff like that? Then you just figure it out. And then remember to give yourself enough wiggle room for the phone conversations. Remember the conversation we had in the very first episode where, as a CPA firm says, if you want to talk to us 130 times a month, you can, but it's not going to be free. So, the thing is that they're going to have a flat fee for that, which they did. And at that point, the customers feel very open. The clients feel very open about making phone calls before they do stupid stuff. Otherwise, they don't want to make a phone call, get charged for it, and they can do stupid stuff that costs them more in the long term. So think about that with respect to doing it from a value pricing perspective. Now, if you're looking at the graphs and it's been a really long time since you've looked at the financial side of business, it's on our website. We have what all the graphs mean. We also have a program for a certified referral program where you can take a class online. And I have a NASVA sponsored 6 CPE course on understanding financial trends. So those are some of the ways that you can brush up. You can also take other online courses or, go back and take a finance class. Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, I remember that. But those are the types of things that you can do. And my sense of it is that once you get a lot of your clients on value pricing and you're doing the financial analysis and the reviews for them on a monthly basis, number one, you don't get crazy during tax season because you've got all the data, you've had all the data. It becomes fairly quick to do their tax return, so it's not crazy for them. And as a result of it, you can have, evened out income and not craziness for 3 or 4 months of the year. And, that's your choice. If you like craziness, go for it. Just do it the way that you've always done it. If you would like a situation where a lot of your clients start really valuing what you do and you talk to them more than once a year when you do their taxes and you provide valuable insight to them every single month, they're going to trust you that much more. They're going to become better clients for you. And you'll have evening out of your seasonality, as well as being in a situation where you're probably having more fun too. So that's how you do financial advisory. It's not rocket science. It's making the decision that you're going to do it, that you're going to do it on a value pricing format, and talking to your clients and getting more clients who want to do it. So thank you for joining us. Choose one thing that you discovered and implement it in your business. These ideas, tactics, and strategies help you make more money, have more free time, and give back. If you like today's program, spread the word. Please review this podcast on any device you're listening to it on. Help a business owner improve the health of his company. For comments or questions, call me at 770-729-8000 or email rking@financiallyfit.business. This is where you go if you'd like to see the system, rking@financiallyfit.business. Thanks for listening. Have a great and profitable